Now, given that, let me go back a little bit. Now, given that there's more than 15,000 small businesses participating in the Schedules program, it should be very rare of an instance where an agency is unable to give consideration to a sufficient number of small businesses to comply with the competition requirements in 8.405. Alright, so next question is, what steps must an agency take under this FAR rule to set aside an order under the Schedules program? And there's basically 4 steps, the first of which is perform market research. Market research needs to be done to see if there are small businesses capable of performing the desired work. Now, one thing unique about set-aside, small business set-asides versus doing a regular order or a non-set-aside order under Schedules is that there is that limitation of subcontracting. So when we say perform market research to see if there are small businesses capable of performing the desired work, your market research needs to find if there are enough small businesses that can do 50% of your requirement. Because if you're going to set it aside, that's a performance standard that they're going to be held to. Now, given that there, like I said before, there's more than 15,000 small business schedule holders, contract holders, and since the Schedules program covers commercial items, there shouldn't be any problem identifying enough small businesses that are capable and competitive in terms of meeting your requirement. If you want to be really certain and you can't be sure with using Advantage and eLibrary, you can always issue an RFI through eBuy to make sure there are sufficient small businesses capable of doing the work. The second step is kind of a temporary step. You won't always have to do it. Agencies won't always have to do it. Is incorporating the applicable clauses into the RFQs. Now, GSA is in the process of modifying all of its scheduled contracts to incorporate the set-aside clauses. But as you can imagine, with about 19,000 scheduled contracts, that is going to take a while. So in the meantime, if a CO wants to set aside an order or BPA, they need to make sure that their RFQ includes the applicable FAR clauses. And all the ones that could possibly apply are the ones listed on your screen. The only new one is 52.219-13. That was the only new clause created by the intermode, but all the other ones existed, but they were rewritten to make them apply to orders also. Before, the prescription of the clauses and the clause language itself only applied to contracts, but now language is included to make these clauses apply to orders that are set aside. Something that I want to point out for those of our industry partners that are online, these clauses will only kick in, so to speak, when a small business contractor is performing on a set-aside order. So while a small business schedule contractor will have all of these clauses in their schedule contract, if they are performing on a schedule order that is not set aside, they will not be held to a limitation of subcontracting, because the clause itself was written in a way to where it only applies on set aside orders. So, just wanted to throw that in there. I know that might be of concern. The third step is, actually, before I move on to the third step, I wanted to say that a way for COs to know when the contracts have been modified is to check contracts online. And you can access that by looking through GSA eLibrary. On eLibrary, you can access each schedule, and when you go to each schedule's page, there's a box that says for federal buyers if you want to look at the clauses. And if you click that, it'll take you to all of the schedule contracts that are awarded under that schedule and the clauses that are incorporated into that schedule contractor's contract. So that's a way that you can see whether that contract or the schedule that you're looking at has been modified to include these clauses yet or not. So until the schedule contract itself has been modified, we're recommending that ordering activity COs incorporate whatever clauses on this from this list is applicable. Okay, so step 3 is include a statement in the RFQ that notifies vendors that you are setting aside your order or your BPA. And here's suggested language. And it basically says that this is a notice, that this is a set aside for blank, and that only quotes submitted by the type of small business that you're setting aside for will be accepted by the government. And any quote that's submitted by a contractor that's not eligible for that set aside will not be considered for award. And the last step is use the ordering procedures that are in 8.405. So on your order in your RFQ that doesn't exceed the SAT, you can post your RFQ to eBuy or consider 3 small business schedule contractors. For RFQs that exceed the SAT, simplest thing would be post your RFQ to eBuy. Or you can take the other route of sending it out to enough small business schedule contractors where you receive at least 3 back.